So good evening everybody, and you're very welcome. I'm here just getting the stage ready for Queen of the Goats. It's a beautiful evening. The cloud is coming in from the west, but it's still so beautiful and clear, and I suppose this is my iconic view here of Cnochnazober, which everybody really loves looking at. I hope everybody is well. Just thinking, one thing I need to do, and it's a very important ingredient, is the story of how the Queen of the Goats came about. In mythology, there is a story of a man who lived in Spain called Ith, I-T-H. And growing up as a young boy, he lived over in Spain, and his father had this huge tower that not everybody was left up all the time, but every so often, little Ith would get in there and climb up the tower, and he would look out to the east, I suppose, and would see Ireland. Or would he look up? Anyway, he looked and he would see Ireland far, far away, this beautiful island, and he always had it in his head to come to Ireland. So, growing up, he was a merchant, he had a few ships, and eventually he'd raised enough money to bring his family and to bring some people with him to discover Ireland, to discover what this island was. So he headed off, and they were on the sea. There was about 3 ships, and they lost 1 or 2 along the way with storms and going through the storms, and maybe going to land. Some probably stayed somewhere else and they didn't want to go any further. But eventually Ith and his crew and his people arrived here in Iveragh, and they landed safely. Immediately they were struck by the beauty, and you must remember as well that the Skelligs at that stage was a fantastic golden pyramid, and over time it's washed down to the rock it is now, but then it was just this golden pyramid, and they saw that light gave them hope, and they got here, and when they did, they were just amazed at the beauty, the greenery, the trees, the plants. Everything was beautiful. The fruits on the trees were amazing. And they brought some animals with them. They brought some sheep, they brought some cattle, but they also had brought goats. It's the first time goats ever set foot in Ireland was with Ith and his people. So Ith wanted to meet the king, and he met some people here, and they told him there was 3 kings in Ireland, the 3 high kings, Macrena, Macart and Macul. And they were of the Tuatha De Danann, of course, and they were up in Tara. So Ith went off with 1 or 2 warriors, and they went up through the country. It took him a long time, of course, to get to Tara, and they eventually got there, and Ith met the 3 kings, and he was saying, "Oh my God, you have a fantastic island here. The greenery, the growth, the plants, the sunshine. This is an amazing place. Wait till I go back to my country and tell everybody what a wonderful place this is." Now, the Tuatha De Danann weren't very much into tourism like we are now. And the idea of lots of visitors coming to Ireland and lots of people maybe trying to take over Ireland didn't really sit well with them. So they killed Ith and his 2 companions, and that was the end of him. But down here, his people were waiting, and they were waiting for so long. The boat crashed up against some rocks, and it wasn't seaworthy anymore, and they really didn't know what to do. And they were eating some of the animals while they were waiting for Ith to come back. And they had a druid with them, Oirgin, who was a very wise and good man. So Oirgin decided, look, we're eating all our animals. We'll have nothing left. Why don't we go off and try and find Ith? So they went through the country for a while, but it was so dense. And you must remember the forestry in Ireland was really dense at the time. So they got to where Killorglin is now, and they couldn't cross the river. Níl Drogheda down, there was no bridge there, so ní raibh Drogheda down, and all they had left at this stage was a huge big black male goat. So they built a tower, just like Ith had seen Ireland. They built this huge tower, and they put the puck goat up there, and they prayed to all the gods, their own gods, the gods of the country, any god who would hear them. And who heard them but Manan Maclir, the god of the sea, the Celtic god of the sea. And he had brought cattle to Ireland from India many, many years before that. So he decided, why don't I go off and get some goats? So he said, look, go back down to the sea where you were, and I will meet you there. So they brought the black puck goat down again. They came back down here to Iveragh, down to Portmagee, and legend has it that they were here, and Manan Maclir came sweeping into the sea with his white horse Embar, and he brought 3 she-goats with them, a white, a black and a brown. And those 3 goats and the black puck were the start of the herds of goats in Ireland. So then they had the celebration here of the Queen of the Goats. So you have King Puck in Killorglin, and a few days later when they made their way back, they had the celebration of the Queen of the Goats. And that's what we do here to replicate that. And we're doing it very, very soon, and I better get ready. Slán in Ishgachtainna, go raibh maith agaibh ar fad.